I've been married to Eric for 26 years. He's quiet, kind, a bit obsessive with routines. Every morning, black coffee, 2 sugars. Every Sunday, eggs and toast with the news. I used to find it charming. But a few weeks ago, I woke up and something felt off. I know how that sounds, but it was in the little things. He smiled with just the wrong side of his mouth. He hugged me, but held on a beat too long. And when he kissed me, I didn't recognize the smell of his skin. It wasn't cologne. It was like someone trying to smell like my husband. The second week, things got worse. I found him in the bathroom at 3 a.m. staring into the mirror, not brushing his teeth, not shaving, just staring. When I asked what he was doing, he said, "Just reminding myself which face is mine." He laughed like it was a joke, but it didn't reach his eyes. And he said, "Which, not what." That same day I caught him writing my name over and over in a notebook. Just Marissa, 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 Marissa. Dozens of times. When I confronted him, he smiled and said, "I like how it looks." But he spelled it wrong. He's never spelled it wrong. The next morning, the front door was wide open. I asked him if he forgot to lock it. He said, "We don't have a front door." I thought he was joking until I realized he meant it. He walked to the wall where the door should be and just stared at it. I pointed and said, "Eric, it's right there." He tilted his head like a confused dog and said accusatory, "Why would you lie about that?" I told my sister. She thought maybe he had a tumor, something neurological. We scheduled an MRI, but the night before the appointment, he whispered in my ear, "You can't scan what doesn't exist." I set up a camera in the bedroom, just to prove to myself that I wasn't going crazy. The next morning, I checked the footage. He got up at 2:17 a.m., walked to my side of the bed, just stared at me. Not like he was admiring me, like he was studying me. And then he leaned down and whispered something in my ear. But the audio glitched. I could hear the words, but they didn't sound right. Like my name, stretched and slowed. Marissa. The lips were his, but the voice wasn't. It sounded layered, like 2 people talking at once. 2 nights ago, he woke me up holding my hand. Except it wasn't how Eric holds my hand. It was too tight. He said, "I remember now. I'm not supposed to be here, but I know how to stay." I didn't sleep. In the morning, I called my sister to come get me. But when she picked me up, she didn't recognize me. She said, confused, "Who are you?" and drove away. I looked in the mirror, scared, and I swear to God, the reflection blinked before I did. He didn't replace my husband. He replaced me. This is worldly timeless. If you ever feel like your partner's watching you too closely, or like your own name feels wrong in your mouth, get out while you still remember who you are.
It was one of those 24-hour places. Keypads on the gate, rows of corrugated metal units, a small office up front with a fold-out couch. Nothing fancy, but it was quiet. Too quiet, sometimes. When I took the job, the owner told me, "Just keep the place clean, don't lose keys, and don't open Unit 239. I thought he was joking. But when I asked why, he just shrugged and said, "It's prepaid, don't worry about it." So I didn't. Not at first. After about a month, I started noticing things. There was a smell near 239. Not strong, just odd. Like wet laundry and expired milk. I figured maybe someone stored food or a fridge in a nearby unit. Happens all the time. Then, one night around 2 a.m., I saw someone on the security monitor. A woman, thin, pale, dressed in a hospital gown. She walked across the lot barefoot, then stopped in front of 239. Just stood there. No key, no fob, didn't even try the door. Then she looked up, straight at the camera. Not just toward it, like she knew exactly where the lens was. When I got out there, she was gone. No cars, no footprints, nothing. A few days later, the owner called, said the auto pay on Unit 239 finally failed, first time in 7 years, told me to clean it out. I didn't tell him about the woman. I figured he'd think I was messing with him. But that afternoon, I went out with bolt cutters. The padlock was newer than the others, heavy, unmarked, took 3 cuts to break it. I opened the door and just stood there. There was no furniture, no boxes, just a mattress, stained, torn, surrounded by half-melted candles. And the smell soaked into the walls like bleach, rotting meat, and something sickly sweet. I called the cops. They cleared it without much fuss, said it was probably an old squatter's space. But the next morning, when I came back to double-check the unit, there was a VHS tape sitting on the mattress. I don't know how I missed it. No label, just a black tape in a cracked clamshell case. I drove home, dug out my old combo VCR TV and hit play. Static. Then a still image. That woman, standing in the unit. But this time she was closer to the camera, and she was whispering. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like she was saying the same thing, over and over. The video cut out, and then, I swear, the TV flickered off and on by itself. I unplugged it. Didn't sleep that night. Quit 2 weeks later. Couldn't shake it. The owner didn't ask questions, just sent me my last check. I moved 2 states over and tried to forget the whole thing. But every so often, late at night, I still get this feeling, like someone's watching me. And last week, I found a VHS tape on my front porch. No label, no note. I haven't played it. I don't want to know what's on it. But sometimes when I close my eyes, I still hear her whispering, over and over and over. This is Worldly Timeless. Subscribe if you enjoy stories from the darker corners of our world. And if someone tells you not to open a locked door, don't.